So I actually have a retreat center in Costa Rica that I've had for 7 years. And this is where my passion started to grow for Sweat Lodge. And so I worked with a tribe, the Omoclenetsi in Mexico, with the Mexica people. And through a really dear brother of mine who has a retreat center, or it's actually more like, it's called the Living Library. It's all these sacred plants, beautiful, beautiful work that they're doing there. And I met my soul brother in Costa Rica there. And he introduced me to the Sweat Lodge and to the Temazcal, which they call Temazcal traditionally in Mexico. And he also runs these Temazcals. And so all of the wisdom and all of the teachings that came through that were absolutely invaluable. And I think that part of the biggest things that it enlightened within me was the fact that we can be with the uncomfortability. That sandpaper that you feel in your life, those difficult things, those adversities that you feel, those are all part of this human curriculum and all part of your growth, leaning into those things, not shying away, not becoming the victim, leaning into that space. And I think that that inherently represents for me the Sweat Lodge. The Sweat Lodge is that. It's being in the uncomfortability. How are you when you're in the uncomfortability? Can you be present? Or are you not capable of being present? Are you identifying with the fact that, oh, I'm in a tight space with 20 people, now I need to move, or I need to get out of this heat? That's where the work lies. It's being able to sit in that uncomfortability. And so tying into those lessons that I learned there, it's really deep wisdom that came from being in those spaces. And then also the sacred service, the service to the whole and service to your brothers and sisters, and being impeccable with your word. Those things all came through this process of sitting in these sweat lodges and doing this deep work and being in service and giving of yourself, in a sense, selfless service, right? It's the greatest gift when you're able to serve from a place of authenticity and from your heart, and be able to just pour yourself into that service. So that's the kind of service that will be happening here at Nambwa for this sweat lodge. And I just can't wait, because what follows from that is just the most beautiful things. And we are now situated in one of the most beautiful places in the world. These animals that we have been graced by, their presences, the spirit of the animals, all these different kingdoms that I'm aware of here, has been absolutely immense. And it's touched my heart in a way that I cannot even explain, really, because I've been left speechless, honestly, a couple of times. And I just didn't have words for the beauty that exists here and all the opportunities that are here. And then just this connection that we have with the spirit of the land. And I think that was also very crucial for me in this process, in building the Sweat Lodge, is that what is it that the spirit of the land wants here? Not what I want. Get out of the way. What is it that spirit wants? What does spirit want to birth here in this sacred space? And I think that was very evident, because as we started this planning and building into this Sweat Lodge, my dear brother Brett, he said, brother, just have a look over there. As we were going through this process with all the staff, and I look over to the right and I see 5 hippos there just across us in the river, looking at us just with their eyes. And I'm like, wow. Okay. So much bigger than one man, so much bigger. And the reason why is because you can get out of the way of your own self, and then you can go and look at that and get the confirmation that everything that's taking place, it's almost like there's a divine orchestration at play. And just to have those confirmations, I think, is really important in this work. Because if I'm working against the grain, or I'm working in disharmony with those elements, then I'm not in the right place. And so biggest thing as well about the sweat lodge is how can we humble ourselves. What we're doing when we actually go into a lodge is we're going down on one knee. Why do we do that? Because we're actually in reverence to this medicine, to the teachings that come through this, and we're humbling ourselves. And I think for me, that has been a theme throughout the last 10 years of my life, is just how can I approach these things with humility and come from this space of innocence, innocence and humility of being like, okay, how may I serve? How may I serve? And then part of this process with the sweat lodge is that it's like, can you leave your baggage outside before you come in? And what does that mean? Can you leave your mind outside, actually? So yeah, there's so much I could actually share about this because I'm so passionate about it. I'll leave you with one more thing. It became very clear for me that this was a massive passion of mine is when I was lying on the floor in Costa Rica. I was lying in the middle of a sweat lodge. The steam was rising, and I looked outside and it was raining. It was raining cats and dogs, actually. And I looked outside and it was all mud on the floor. And I was lying in the mud. And I had this realization that, wow, this is my home. I was covered in mud and I was lying on the floor, and I'd been just worked a sweat lodge, and I was just like in absolute reverence and awe for the nature, and also the fact that I got the privilege. I've been so blessed to be in this space and to be part of this space. There was no words for me.